Hi everyone. So today I thought I'd take a step back from all the bullet and blitz rubbish I've been doing recently and show you a game that I played in the last few days in the Glorney Cup, which is a junior international tournament, kind of like the Five Nations chess. And this was in the last round, England A versus Ireland, and by this stage, Ireland were in the lead. And if England wanted any chance of winning the whole tournament, they had to win pretty much every game, which was quite unlikely. So anyway, let's get down to it. So Ross played e4 and I replied with the French. Now he played d3, which is I'd consider a sideline, which is called the King's Indian as white. So I played d5 and play followed with knight d2, knight f6, knight gf3. Now knight c6. Now any French players out there watching this video may look at this move and think, this is a bit odd, because normally in French you want to play c5. You want to play this move. But normally when you play chess, before you just play out the moves of your system instinctively, like just go, oh, c5, that's what you always do in the French. You've got to consider why you are playing c5. So normally in the French, you play c5 to undermine white's pawn on d4. But because white hasn't gone d4, he's gone d3, there's no need to play c5. So in this position, I played knight c6. Development is key. He played g3 to fianchetto shatter his bishop. And again, if I'd gone c5, this diagonal would look even stronger. So at this stage, I reckon that I would blunt this bishop because he's played this g3, so he's committed to developing his bishop this way. So I played d takes e4, d takes e4, and e5. So now, as you can see, this white pawn isn't moving anywhere, and this bishop is going to be not as powerful as in the previous position. Bishop g2, bishop c5. So this bishop c5 move is already putting quite a lot of pressure on this f2 pawn, and already, if white just wastes a move with like a3 or something, knight g4 is coming, and there's no way to defend this pawn again. Well, actually, you can just castle. Yeah, you can just castle probably. But anyway, you get my point. Like when you're developing your pieces, like I could have played bishop e7, but I played bishop c5 because later I want to play queen e7. I've got this system in my head where I'm going to put my pieces on very nice squares and restrict white's play. So white chose to castle here, I castled, white played c3. Now, every time your opponent makes a move, you've got to think, what is the purpose of this move? Now, not only is it controlling a central square, it's also threatening to play this b4 push, which I think would be very good for him if he can get in. So I play a5. Not only does a5 stop this b4 push, it also gives a square for black to retreat his bishop if need be. A4 was played, I guess presumably to stop me playing b5. I'm not sure if I would have played it anyway, but anyway. Here I play b6. Now, at this point, I've got options. My next plan should be to develop this bishop, because you normally want to develop your minor pieces before your major pieces. So here I could develop my bishop to e6, g4, or a6, which is my intention of b6. Now the problem with bishop e6 is that I felt that this pawn may come under a bit of fire from like moves like knight c4, and I felt that the potential of the bishop on this diagonal was not as powerful as the potential on this diagonal. And also, if I were to pin the knight is already guarding the knight, so the queen isn't exactly pinned, and the bishop's guarding it, so the queen can still move. And he can possibly play h3, which is probably good for him. The bishop would have to come back, and then the knight no longer has this square. So I decided to play b6. Also, you may think it traps the bishop a bit, but right now it's not going to be under any threats of b4. So here, white played h4 to stop the knight coming in. But again, these moves aren't really pressuring me too much. It gives me time to develop. So here I played queen e7. the reason why I didn't play bishop a6 now is because I thought that white might actually rather have his rook on e1 than on f1, and by playing bishop a6 it just gives him an easy decision to play rook e1. So I decided to play queen e7 and defend this pawn. So here white played queen c2. Basically in the previous positions his knight was tied to guarding this pawn, so he couldn't play knight c4, knight b3 really, because I could take this pawn as long as it was tactically okay. Yeah, so basically he plays queen c2 to guard this pawn, and here I play bishop a6. Now here white actually makes a blunder by playing rook to d1. Now I advise you to pause the video, as this is a critical position, as Mata would say. So what would you do? Okay, so if you spot this move, then well done, because you've probably been doing your 5 tactics a day on chess.com. But I haven't, so I missed it. And here you can actually play the stunning move bishop takes f2. Now the very simple idea being is that after king takes f2 you have queen c5 check, and as you can see this very powerful bishop and this queen basically checkmates the king. Now it's almost checkmate, except white has one move which is knight d4. I mean, if king goes back to e1 I'm pretty sure there's a mate here. Oh god, what is it? Oh, just queen e3 check. Is that mate? Yeah, I think that's mate. Yeah. So king can't go back to e1. So yeah, knight d4, and here you simply play knight takes d4, and you capitalize on the point that this pawn is pinned, so the pawn can't take the knight because you win the queen. And the computer line, it gives knight b3, in which you take it, bishop e3, take the rook, hitting the queen, and now you're basically a rook, knight, and a pawn up. So this is completely crushing if white were to take on f2. So in actual fact, king has to go to h2, and you get to put white in quite a bind. Like after bishop e2, the rook only has one square, which is h1, queen c5, and computer gives knight f1 basically to just try and guard everything, control some of these really weak black squares, and maybe develop this bishop. And also is hitting the bishop, so black replies with bishop a6, bishop g5, knight h5, g4, knight f4, and the computer gives this position to be 2 points up for black. Like, not only are you a pawn up, but this white rook is completely out of the game. These knights and bishops are all tied down. The king looks particularly weak. The black king is completely fine. So yeah, I think that's a fair evaluation. Anyway, after rook d1, I missed this bishop takes f2, which would have been a nice miniature. Instead I played rook a to d8. Now, a lot of times when you link up your rooks, which is what you're trying to do, you often get into the position where you have an open file and you have to think, which rook do I want to place on d8, the f rook or a rook? Now, I didn't think too long of this one because honestly, it doesn't really matter. Sometimes you want to move, let's say, the f rook because the a rook might have some potential on either the square a, b, or c, or vice versa, the a rook going to d because the black rook might have potential on f or e ranks, and that's how you basically decide. But I thought in this position, the rooks don't really have any potential on any of these squares, except probably d8. So it doesn't really matter which rook, and I think what can happen is a lot of players will spend a lot of time trying to work out which rook is best to put there, and kill a lot of time on the clock when ultimately it doesn't matter, and you need to save that time for more critical positions in the future. So anyway, I played rook a d8. So you know, the time control was 90 minutes each on the clock plus 30 seconds to move. And yes, that sounds a long time, but trust me, it goes by very quickly. So rook a d8, bishop f1. Now here he realised that his bishop on g2 isn't doing much, so he decided to get rid of it. Now I was tempted to go bishop c1 and keep an eye on this h3 pawn, but I felt that this bishop would then control this diagonal, and maybe his bishop can come to, I know that, c4 or b5 and actually cause a pain. And right now none of his pieces are causing me any pain, so I don't want him to get any play whatsoever. So I decided to take it off the board. Bishop takes, rook takes. And now, again, you just have to think logically, what's the next, what's the best step here? And here I decided to double my rooks on this open file. King g2 was played to, I know, defend these pawns. But again, like, lots of his moves are kind of like not doing too much, and I'm steadily developing, and later the development is going to help me, so when I do try and attack, it will probably work. Rook fd8, just continue the doubling up. Rook e1, and now defend this pawn a bit more. I'm not too sure, to be honest. Now here, yeah, so here I think this is where a lot of people struggle. When you finish development, you've definitely got a superior position. Like, this bishop's completely out of the game, this knight is kind of a bit awkward. What do you do now? Now, I'm not really sure, I can't really give you a straight answer, but you've just got to look for white's threats and kind of stop them. Now, one idea for white I was slightly concerned about was maybe knight to h4 and knight to f5, and that knight looks quite dominant there, and if he goes knight h4 in this position, I might have to play g6 or something to stop this, and later this bishop could come to h6 and maybe cause some problems. So here I thought, okay, I don't want to give him any play, I'll play queen e6, with the idea being if he goes knight h4, then I'll probably play like knight e7 or something. So if he comes in here, knight takes, pawn takes, yeah, maybe, and then, I don't know, queen c6 check, push this pawn. I don't know, like, it still seems like fairly okay for him. Like, after knight h4, I might still play g6, I'm not too sure. But that's what I felt was most important in this position. And also it stops ideas of maybe knight c4 with this queen here. Anyway, so knight f1 was played. Opening up the bishop, maybe rerouting to e3. Here I played rook d3. Basically just kind of like getting into his position, putting some pressure on this knight if maybe I want to sacrifice in the future. Here, bishop g5, and now I played h6. And I didn't really mind this take, because then this bishop will become stronger, this queen would exert some pressure, and here he can't keep hitting this knight by playing bishop h4 because of g5 just traps the bishop, so he decided to go all the way back to c1, which I feel was quite a waste of time, as h6 is probably gaining me some time. I think the reason he played h6 is now he's thinking of going knight h4, and if I play g6 I can't now because of bishop takes h6, so I think that was the point of that maneuver. Here I played queen d6 just to make sure that he can't play rook d1, well, I know, develop the bishop, rook d1, and try and like swap these off, maybe, I don't know. I think, like, again, I got to the stage, I'd spent like 10 minutes on this move, I don't know what to do, so you got to do something, otherwise you're just gonna run out of time. So I just thought I'd maintain the pressure, keep the pressure on the position. Here white played knight h4, and here I played my knight e7 idea. Here he played queen e2. Now, to be honest, at this point I was slightly worried of the f4 plan, and I played queen e6 to stop knight f5 because takes and I just win the pawn. Bearing in mind he can't like take here because I just take on f2 because my bishop is hitting that square. Here I was actually quite worried about the move f4, but I missed a neat little idea. The reason being is that after e takes f4, pawn can't recapture because queen takes h3. I saw that, so I saw bishop has to take here. But at this moment, he's got an isolated pawn. I kind of evaluated this position a bit wrong. I thought this was good for him, but apparently after just defend this c7 pawn, e5, knight fd5, bishop c1, knight f5, I'm actually doing really well here. Like, his king is a lot more vulnerable. This g3 pawn is very vulnerable now. This f pawn has moved, and I've probably got some tactics arising from this position. So he didn't play f4. I'm not sure if I would have seen that variation, but anyway, he played knight d2, blocking this bishop again. He's kind of not doing anything, and I felt if I don't act soon, I'm going to miss out. So I felt here, my pieces are kind of pointing towards his king, and I played, I think, probably my favorite move of the game. Maybe not as the most stunning move, but definitely my favorite. So again, if you'd like to pause this video, what move would you play in this position? Okay, so if you thought along the same lines as me, you may have spotted g5. Now, the idea of g5 is that after the knight moves to f3, which is forced, your knight is coming to g6, and as you can see, you're actually threatening to play moves like g4, and if takes, queen takes, and then you've got ideas of knight f4 check. The pawn can't take because the queen is hitting the king. Let's just play that out. So let's say he just plays some rubbish move. Oh no, that just, okay, let's just, I don't know, play something like this. I'm threatening to play something like this, takes, queen takes, and if he just misses this, this is the idea. Pawn can't take because of check, and you're winning the queen. So, let me just delete that. Okay, so here, white played knight d4, which I probably should have analysed beforehand because it looks like I'm simply losing a rook. And I kind of got to this point, I was like, oh shit, have I missed this? Because I mean, the rook is completely lost because I've got to, you know, it just looks like I've lost it. So, here, luckily, but I think that's the thing, like, because my pieces are in such good positions, I can actually get out of problems like this through brilliant tactics. So again, pause the video and try and find the crushing move I played. Okay, so if you're a tactical genius like me, you may have seen knight f4 check. Now, let me get out a computer just to make sure. Yeah, so g takes f4 is actually forced. I mean, if you play stuff like king g1, maybe, or king f1. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you go king g1, then the knight takes the queen with check. If you go king f1 or king h1, then the queen can take h3 with check. And if king h2, queen can also take h3 with check. Yeah, so in this position, g takes f4 is forced, in which I've still got this queen takes h3 guarding the rook, defending the queen, and king is forced to go to g1. Here, I was looking into moves like knight g4, the idea being queen h2 check, king h1 mate, queen h1 mate, but I felt that after knight g4, he may have ideas of knight f1 and basically covering these key squares, and I'm currently a piece down, so I don't want to him to unravel, swap off, and then go into a winning endgame. So here I took the knight, so now I'm a pawn up, I believe, and I'm still exerting the same kinds of pressure with like pawn recapture, opening up this bishop, and it's looking very good for me. I was hoping for queen f1 here, because then I could play this nice tactic of rook g3 check, and after f takes, d takes, and as you can see again, the king has no squares and queen is forced to block. I mean, I've even got queen takes g3, and then this is just completely winning. But unfortunately, he played knight f1, which is probably the most accurate move. Here, I've took on c3 to open up this bishop. F takes g5 here, which is apparently the best move, but that just shows how little white has in this position, because I've actually got this move rook g3 check now, and after knight takes, queen takes, king f1, queen h3, king g1, and then I bring the knight in to g4, threatening queen h2, then queen h1 mate. So currently I've got a knight and a pawn for a rook, but I'm going to get that all back. So I'd calculated all of this at move 29 when I played rook g3 check. So here he played bishop f4 to stop the mate, and here bishop takes f2 just wins the queen. So queen takes f2, knight takes f2, king takes f2. Now if you look at the pieces, he's got a rook and a bishop for the queen, so you might think, you know, yeah, is he doing fine? But no, because his king is completely vulnerable, and a queen in close proximity, this is basically lost. So queen h4 check, bishop g3, rook d2 check. Now rook e2 I think practically is probably the worst move in the position. Computer says it's the best move in the position because moves like king f3 or stuff actually lead to a forced mate. After moves like queen h5 check, basically you keep checking the king and he soon runs out of moves. But you know, that's harder to spot. But after rook e2 check, simply rook takes e2, king takes e2. And at this point I thought, okay, I'll just take the bishop, queen for a rook up, I'll gobble up all the pawns, promote a pawn or something and win the game. But actually I had a very nice finesse in this position of simply c takes b2. Now if he were to take my queen, I take his rook and promote, and then a queen against a bishop is clearly winning. So he tries rook d1, and here again I don't need to take the bishop, I can take e4 with check, threatening the promotion square, king f2, and here again the key is when you're trying to win these positions, don't just win and do not let him have any counterplay whatsoever, because I know in my situations I've been losing so many times. I managed to just swindle because my opponent's given me play when I really shouldn't have been given play. So here, rather than promote the pawn, which would also be winning, I play queen c2 check, king here, queen takes d1, king takes d1, basically get rid of that rook so he's got no play whatsoever, promote to a queen, king e2, h takes g5, king f3. Again, I don't want him trying to gobble up these pawns, so I just play d1 check, cover these squares, so he can't take this pawn, threaten to win this pawn, and here white resigned. Okay, so I think to sum up that game, basically from the start I was following the key principles of developing my pieces. My king was safe throughout the whole game, and basically trying to improve my position at every moment. And that's the thing, like, if you go on mad attacks at the beginning, they're probably not going to work. And don't just like the tactics will come to your position when you play like good positional chess and like develop your pieces. So I think the key points to remember were like in this position here, after knight d2, where he was basically not doing much, g5 was definitely the break you had to play at this moment, and here the tactics just came flooding in. And I think the opening is definitely one I definitely recommend against the King's Indian. Basically, after white plays g3, you exchange and play e5. You play that after he's gone g3, not before, otherwise then you've just lost the tempo for nothing. So I recommend the opening. I recommend playing g5 and playing crushing moves like knight f4 check. And also at the end, even though when you're like clearly winning, don't just play the simple moves, try and restrict his play at all costs. And yeah, okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed watching that. In the future, you may see some bullet and blitz battles against John and other players. I might also present a slug repertoire. So comment what you think. Yeah, like, subscribe, whatever. Okay, thank you for watching. See ya.